Hey there, everyone. Glad you could join me. Going on a little early today. Normally, today would be a private live stream for the premium members. I wasn't able to do my YouTube live stream yesterday that was free for everyone. So I thought I would jump on a little impromptu one here at 1:30 today. So hopefully we'll have several people join us. Let me bring up comments here, so give me 1 second. I'm also expecting a phone call. If I get a phone call, you might hear some noise. I'm not going to answer it during the live stream here, but we'll be quick and we'll go over a few things. I see we got quite a few people in here already, so welcome everyone. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notifications bell. That helps us with YouTube. All right, so I've got your comments right here if anybody has any comments or questions along the way. But, so today, I personally, and I know a lot of people have had a really successful day with ES, with the E-minis. Okay, I've taken all my trades off the 30-minute chart. I'm 8 for 8 today. And I'm probably not going to trade at all anymore because, like I said, I do have a business call here later. But I wanted to show you some of the things that I was seeing. Hey, Kelsey, I see you saying hello there. I want to show you some of the things I was seeing so that you can kind of get a feel for what I was looking at. So pre-market, what were we doing pre-market? Well, let's go back over here. Let me do it this way. Make it easier for everyone to see. Let me auto zoom because I want to get all of this included. All right. So what were we doing pre-market? Well, I already have the lines on the chart here. Okay, we moved down, right? Lower low. We moved up, and we actually had a little channel here or a flag. Some people would call that a flag, right? So we moved down. We moved up through this channel, and the reason it was a channel is we were going up and down. Then we broke below. We came back up to retest the bottom of the channel, which is absolutely something that happens all the time. Then we got this steep drop here. So look at this. This one and this one are almost identical, right? That shows us that it's good, a good, strong downtrend that has a lot of momentum. So one of the things that you should watch for when something is trending down is on each downward leg, okay, because right now we're only talking about a downward. It would be the same way if it was going up. On each downward leg, are you seeing about the same or even greater momentum, right? Because this one is even bigger than these two. Okay, but that was a strong down move. We got a flag. Okay, another strong down move that was about the same exact magnitude as this. Okay, again, we got this pullback in here in the room. And if you're not in our room, check us out, simpletradinglife.com. Absolutely free. Just click the free chat room button and join us. In the room this morning at 9:06 a.m., what did I warn everybody? Okay, I warned you, if you're long, be careful because you see this. We had the flat 200. We had the 20 SMA trending down, and they were converging, and at the same exact point, we had this structure level right here. Okay, does everybody see that? This level of structure, that was where we came down and pivoted and created this bear flag. Okay, then we went down again, pulled back, and where did we pull back to? Right here where all of this stuff was coming together, right? So that's creating a bunch of energy. In the room, right, what did I say? I said if price is going to reverse and go lower, and this is what I'm talking about, reversing this, I said right here is a great place for it to happen. A great place for it to happen. So I took this short, and I think that was for about 300 bucks. I have it posted in the room. Anybody, even if you're not in our room, just come to our room, right? simpletradinglife.com, click on the free chat room button. I posted all of it so you guys can see. So it was my third smallest trade of the day, 300 bucks. So on this original trade to the downside, I took it right here, right here, off of it bouncing off of where this was all coming together. Okay, then I was trailing it down. So I was at 300 and it came back and it stopped me out. All right, so I know, hey Martin, good to see you, bud. I know a lot of people have a question about like, okay, how do I adjust my stops? How do I move my stops? When I see price going heavily in my favor, I keep moving my stop down. So at worst, I think I typed it in the room, at worst, I'm going to make 300 bucks on this trade. I think, I'm going off memory, I think maybe at one point it was 450, 475 into profit. And then it came back, right? You see the wick, came back, and I stopped out for 300 bucks. So nothing has changed, right? Nothing has changed. And what I mean about that is this is your opening candle of the day. And I tell you guys in the room all the time, right? The opening candle is sort of its own animal. So it can whipsaw, and it's frequently going to go the other way, right? It's going to go the opposite way that it's really going to end up going early, and that's what it did, right? It went up, and where did it go to? Look at that. Right back to where the 20 and the 200 were converged. And then what happened? Big drop. Big drop. So I took, I think it was 3 separate trades on this. I bought at a couple of different places on the way up, and I bought right here at the top. So in the room, when you see that list of my trades, that one big one, I'm going off memory again, I think it was for like 1,500. Like one was for like 500, and one was like 600 in profit, and the other one was like 1,500, I think it was. That was the one I got all the way at the top. I bought it right there. Okay, and then what happened? Big flush, okay, which was totally to be expected. Totally to be expected. So if we come down here, now anybody who's new or doesn't, you see RSI down here on the bottom, we don't use RSI, okay? We don't use it in a traditional sense. We just use it to help us try to determine momentum. That's all, and that's not what it's for, right? It's overbought, oversold. That's just, yeah. Don't use it that way. Don't use it that way. You'll end up taking some big losses, and it's not consistent. I was telling the room not too long ago, I came across the guy who tests all kinds of different indicators. That's like kind of his thing. And when he did a back test on RSI, it only if you follow like by the RSI rules of overbought and oversold and when you should go long and short and all that kind of stuff, it only worked like 40-some% of the time. So don't use it that way. We use it to try to help us determine momentum. Okay, so like right here, okay, look at this. If you come, you see I already had the line drawn in. See how momentum was going down? Okay, clear back over here. Okay, so right here, we were basically on this green candle up here, and momentum was already starting to turn. I'm not going to go into all of it again. I covered it on one of the other live streams. Momentum can turn one direction or the other. So you can be on a green candle, and down here you'll see it start to go down before you ever have a red candle. All right? And I explained how that's possible. Obviously, these are 30-minute candles, right? These are 30-minute candles. So later in the candle, momentum was dropping. And that's why it'll start to turn to the downside. All right, the very next candle, you see this right here, it tried to take a little pop to the upside, and then it started losing momentum. And this was already giving us that hint. And what happened? We got this leg down, right? We broke through, came back and retested. We call this a break, retest, and go. All right, so we got our next move to the downside. And that was all to be expected. You see this here? Now, when it starts to cross back up above here, you should be looking for what? Upside momentum. Now, this is not foolproof, right? It's just another tool in your belt to help you make wise decisions. But when you see this crossing back above, you could actually draw a line from here, okay, like this, right? And you can see that momentum had shifted, and sure enough, it had, and it was going up. But again, come clear back here. Look where it started to turn. Momentum started to turn to the downside over here, and look straight up above. We actually had a hammer up here. Again, if somebody was using RSI down here in the traditional sense, there would be no signal to go short, right? Not at that point. But we knew, okay, at least I did, I was watching it, and I know some of you guys use this as well. We knew momentum was already starting to turn. We were on a green hammer, which would typically mean, right, possibly more momentum, continued momentum, but no, okay, we know our surroundings. What we do is we look for obstacles, okay, moving averages, support and resistance, supply and demand, levels of structure, okay. We had 3 of them coming together all at once. 1, 2, 3. 200 simple moving average, 20 simple moving average, and a level of structure, okay, from this pivot right there. That creates a level of structure right across there. Frequently, right, when you're in a downtrend, you're going to break through it, come back to retest it, and go lower. All right, so we had a signal. We had a precursor that momentum was starting to turn. And then you couple that with all of these things. Well, that's giving you like 4 different things. Plus, you're just coming off of a strong uptrend, which it's going to lose some momentum, right, after a while. And none of these candles were huge, right? This was a decent sized one here, okay, but none of them were huge. But we already knew this was a likely area that price would reverse from. Okay, so then come back over here and look. We're already doing it, right? You can look down here, and that's all I use it for, is just momentum. Okay, I could look down here and say, you know what? Momentum is strong to the downside. So here was my target. I'm ultra conservative. Everybody in my room knows that. My target was here, this level of support, 308775. So I think I had my cells at 3088. I know I did, just above it, because I just didn't want it to come down and then bounce against me. So I missed this part right here. No big deal, right? No big deal. All right, so then on the way down, I've had some people asking me, well, how do you know it's going to keep dropping? We came down, we can look to the left. All right, let's go over here to the left. Okay, here was the first thing. Now this is an aberration. Everybody knows why this is an aberration, right? Because we had the false report that the China deal had fell apart and was dead. And then this candle was when they came out immediately and said, no, that's not true. Deal's good, everything's fine. That guy's, doesn't know what he's talking about. And so we had this huge drop and this huge rally. This was when the news came out that the guy said the China deal was dead. This big rally here was when the White House and everybody came out and said, nope, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Everything is good. All right, so all of this here is really an aberration. So we almost can ignore it, right? Then we come back over here. All right, you see this? Okay, it was just barely tested once, right? This is a level of structure across here. Let me get back over here. Okay, so level of structure. We weren't there yet. So we came down, we didn't get to it. Price kind of bounced back up, kind of created a resting candle here. Now we don't really like this wick. Okay, we don't really like that wick, but look, we never took out the top of this hammer. So when you're going down and you see something like this get put in, but you never take the top of it out, momentum is what? Look straight down again. Okay, now I can do this. Okay, now I can do this. Whoops, sorry about that. I don't know why it went off my screen. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, this is what I'm looking at now, and that is strong momentum to the downside. Okay, so we assume price is going to continue down, and it did. So here was the first area where we were saying this could be possible support, and we got possible support. See this? We barely poked through, then it came back up over here, but it never had any upside momentum. And then what did it do? Boom, it dropped again, and then dropped again. Now, what are we into now? This is a demand zone. So when you see blue lines on my chart, it's either supply or demand. If it's below you, it's demand. If it's above you, it's supply. So I was telling everybody in the room, what are we looking for here? We're looking to see, is price going to have so much momentum that it's good? Because it can do that. It can break right through a demand zone, or if it's going up, right through a supply zone. But we were expecting that we would probably at least see a bounce. Did we see a bounce? Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you exactly how big. 301975, and we got as high as 305375. So that would be $34. A $34 bounce. Okay? It doesn't look that big because why? We've had this huge move. We had this huge move to the downside. All right, so but we were expecting to see a bounce. And we got a $34 bounce. Now price is trying to move back down again. You see it's right here back to the top of the demand zone. Now this demand zone, the more times it's tested, it should get weaker. Okay, so for anybody who's new, who doesn't understand what these two blue lines are, this is the 33% and the 50% retracement of this strong move, of this entire move to the downside. Why is that important? We're able to gauge, okay, by where price retraces to, what's likely to happen. And we're seeing it play out right now. If we only make it up right around the 33% level, and price turns and starts to go lower, you're highly likely to continue a move to the downside. Not going to happen 100% of the time, but it's going to happen more often than not. We've already had a strong move, and we're right back here into the demand zone. You see it's catching a little bounce there right now. If you make it to the 50% level, which is what happens most of the time, it can go either direction. Okay, once it gets up here, it typically stalls out. It might even pull back a little bit, or it might turn around right there and start to go lower. Sometimes it breaks through, retests it, and then tries to go higher. All right, but frequently, the majority of the time, a strong move will see a 50% retracement. We didn't see a 50% retracement. So right now, all indications is that the momentum is still strong to the downside. You can also draw your 66% line in, and statistics say if you get back up there and at least get to it, I think it's either 84 85% likely you're going to make it all the way back up to the origin of the move, and maybe even further. Okay, because that's showing strong upside momentum. All right, so that's what these lines are, and the only reason I put them on there was to help everybody in the room. I usually just figure it out in my head what the numbers are, and you don't have to be exact, right? You see how it's a little bit above. It could have been just slightly below, but it never got anywhere near the 50. So that told us if it starts to move down, okay, it's highly likely it's going to have some stronger downside momentum. Now, from an overall perspective, okay, you see how it broke here, all right? That's part of this bounce, but overall, I want to show you, I've got all this stuff down here. Let me start taking some of these off. Give me a second, because I want to show you something. On this same time frame, you can kind of look at a bigger picture. Don't even have to go to another screen. Okay, bigger picture. Why is it not? Hang on a second here. There we go. Bigger picture, what are we still doing? If I draw that line, overall, the momentum, okay, yes, we did climb back up, then we came down, we climbed back up, we came back down, we climbed back up, but overall, from here, which was 130, okay, 1:30 yesterday in the afternoon, from here till right now, we are still moving down. All right, Kelsey's asking a question. Would you have taken the trade that 30-minute inside candle break to the upside and gotten stopped out? All right, 30-minute inside candle. Are you talking about this one right here? You must be. I did not take it. I did not take that. Okay, what I did take was this. Okay, because this happened after it came down here. Okay, I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. Okay, here was the inside candle, but this, once it did break, it actually went up here, it pulled back just a little bit, and then it went all the way up to here and then came back. And I did take that. That was my 8th trade. That was my 8th trade right there, and I got 250. 250 on that trade. And I was trailing the stop. It was actually up higher than that in terms of profit, but that's what I got, and then it pulled back and stopped me out for 250. Okay, good. Answering your question there. Because this happened before this move to the upside. So I wasn't interested. In fact, I think I let it break by almost $2, if I remember right. You don't have to be so precise when you've got so much strength. Like today, I didn't take anything yesterday. I hated the action yesterday. The day before, it was pretty choppy the day before that, but it gave some opportunities. I'm going off memory. I think I was 6 for 7 that day. But it gave some opportunities, and that was a good day. Yesterday, did not like the action at all. Plus, I was busy with some stuff. I was distracted, so I didn't want to try to trade distracted. Today, man, has it been a great day. I mean, it's just, to me, this is so easy to read. And I hope that I'm articulating to you guys, the kind of stuff that you should look for to be able to trade this. Okay, this kind of action is so easy to read. I saw somebody on Twitter, and it's somebody I know and respect, and he was kind of, in a way, he was making fun of some people, but he was basically saying, if you got your hat handed to you today, there's something wrong. Because today is one of the easier days to trade. I don't care, because he doesn't use the same exact strategy as me. There's some similarities in what he does, and then I also have another guy that's a friend of mine who's a professional trader. He only uses like one element or so of like what I use. I put a few things together. He's had an awesome day. I think most traders who understand price action and understand how to look at a chart and read things, basic things, I'm not talking about complex things, they probably had a good day today. It was really easy to read the action. Okay, I'm not interested in pretty much anything else the rest of the day because we're going to be getting into power hour, and you guys know I typically don't trade after 3:30 anyway, very rarely. Plus, I know I have a phone call. My phone could ring at any minute. I have a phone call that I'll have to take later. But this action, it's just so predictable right now, today. I'm not talking about every day, right? Yesterday was difficult. Yesterday was very difficult. Let's see, where did you enter and exit? Kelsey, it was like, we're down here, it was like a couple dollars above this, and then I was trailing, okay? So I kept moving my stop up a little bit, and it got up to here. I was actually hoping it was going to get up to about right here, right around the 30.60 to 30.62 area, but we didn't get that follow through. And why? Because that would have been right up around 50%. And it would have been up here around where the structure level come across. So I was just trailing it, and then when it came back against me, it took me out at 250. Okay? Yeah, I think a lot of people really, I saw some people on Twitter saying, okay, here comes a 50% retracement, because it happens so often. About 70-75% of the time, you get a big move like this, it's going to at least get back up to 50%. Then it may turn around and go back lower. But it's just so common. I saw all these people, but that's why you know where 33 is, because if it just gets up around there and turns around, okay, then it's likely you're going to see some downside. Now, right now, it's catching some support right here. All right, so anyway, once we got past here and through this, it was highly likely. I think I even put in the room, next thing coming up is going to be 30-30, which is the start of a demand zone. And we got there easy, right? We got all the way down to 30-19. Now, here's where the candle closed. This is what shows you that the zone held, right? Because we closed here. Even though it pierced down here, this is where we closed. So the zone held. Right here, it bounced, right? Touched the zone and it bounced. Okay, so it's still holding, but how many more times can it be tested before it breaks through? We don't know, right? And we don't want to guess. So you may be asking, what's the next level below? Well, let's look, because I know I have it marked. These levels have been on my chart for quite a while. Okay, 29, 66, 25. So if we get through here with any sort of momentum, then this is the next level, right? And we can go back over here to the left. Let's go back to the left, 29, 66, 25. And we're going to see, is there anything that could stop us on the way? Not a whole lot, okay? You see this? Okay, right here's the zone that we're trying to get through right now. And then do we see any big wicks? Nope, not until down here, which is below our level. These are all small or medium-sized wicks, candles in a nice diagonal, and those that are in my room, they know why that's important. These are the kind of structures that lead to big downside moves, right? We've already had one. Look up here, okay? See this structure up and through here, right? Until you got to here, this was your first bigger wick. It's going to move through this stuff easy, right? It'll move through that stuff easy, which it did. Okay, then it came down here. Here is our level, our demand zone, and this was a rally, base, rally. You see that strong chaotic candle out of there. That told us there's a lot of buyers sitting right in here. Okay, that's what tells us that. We had a nice strong move up. Here's our base. So we had rally, base, rally. That's how we created this demand zone right here. But if we break through this with any kind of momentum, there is a really, really high probability that we'll eventually get back down here. Now remember, these are 30-minute candles. So I'm not saying it's just going to drop down there in 5 minutes. 31, 32, 33, 30. 3.5 hours it took to create this, right? All I'm saying is if we break through here with any kind of momentum, it's very likely that we end up getting down here to test this. Although anything can change at any time. You always got to keep that in mind, right? You can't just assume that because something should happen, that it's going to happen. All right, just remember that. Don't assume that because something should happen, that it's going to happen. All right, let's get in closer here. Okay, so you see, we're just starting a new candle, 2 o'clock, and look, we're testing it again. We hit it, we bounced. We're going right back down to test it. Look down here, this is the overall momentum, right? This isn't short term. This is going back till 1:30 yesterday, 1:30 in the afternoon yesterday. So 24 hours of momentum have been to the downside, and you see we're still below that. We're still below that right now. Well, Kelsey, some days it's a lot. Today, 0. 2 days ago, once, right? 2 days ago, I only got stopped out once. And today, I've got stopped out 0. So it just depends. Like I said, for me, okay, I'm not saying it's easy for everybody. For me, today has been really easy to read the price action. So that's how I'm 8 for 8 today. And that's why I'm done, right? Just not taking anything else. If I wanted to, right, I could set an alert like right under this wick. And if we took that out, that could potentially be a short. But I'm not going to take it today because it's getting closer to the end of the day. And like I said, I have a phone call. It actually could be coming in any time now. And I might be on the phone for an hour or two. I don't know. Yesterday, didn't like the price action. I had a couple of phone calls. I was on the phone for like 4 hours yesterday. Because as many of you know, I have other business interests outside of Simple Trading Life and trading. So I do have to occasionally take care of some other business. So, okay, you see this? It poked down near the bottom. Okay, it's trying to get through. Okay, I'm going to hang on for a couple more minutes here. I'm going to hang on, but this is the key. The 3019.75, you really want to see it get down around 3019, 3018, 50. You're somewhere down in here. Get a nice solid break of this, and then that's when you're starting to feel pretty confident that you're going to get some sort of a drop. And again, I'm not saying it's just going to, 5 minutes you're going to be way down here. I'm not saying that. That'd be a huge move. I'm just saying that the likelihood is that you're going to work your way down there. I'm reading. Okay, I'm sorry. So Kelsey put, when you say it's easy to read, is this because every time the bottom of the candle broke, it kept going in the direction of the trend? No, just the stuff I've been pointing out already. Okay, all the factors that have led into what I see. Okay, again, come back over here. For 24 hours, we've basically been trending down. We've been... let me do this. There we go. Okay, we were in an up channel, and then once we broke out of the channel, look, okay, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. You see that? Okay, and these structure levels have been really, really like smooth and respected. Okay, this one, although it was fairly big, this one was about the same size as this one. Okay, nice. Come down, slant up. Come down, slant up. Okay, come down. I could draw another line, right? I'll just do it so you can see it. Okay, come down, slant up. Now, we're working our way down again. If we get below this, we've made another lower low. All right. And we would look to see if we make a lower low, what is the magnitude of it? If it's smaller than these ones, that should be an indication in your mind momentum could be slowing down, right? If it's about the same size as this one or these ones, okay, momentum's still strong. Those are all things you need to take into account. That's if we make a lower low. So if we barely get below here and then it starts up, maybe gets to here, I'll show you something. Okay, so this was a bigger move than these two, and these two were pretty decent moves. This one was even bigger, which means even more momentum to the downside. Look, the pullback was smaller than these pullbacks, even more momentum to the downside. But hypothetically, let's just say we get down here and we just barely break through or even kind of stop right there, and then we come back up around here, then we try to come down again and we can't get through again. What are we looking at then? We're looking at a loss of momentum, double bottom, W, whatever you want to call it. Then we would start to look for plays to the upside, right? You have to anticipate. I was watching somebody... trying to remember who it was now. I was watching a video. I went and walked early this morning at like 6 something in the morning. I walked almost 3.5 miles this morning. I was listening to somebody. He was talking about price action. It's not somebody I normally follow. Sometimes I just listen to people just to listen to them. Sometimes you'll learn something new. Sometimes you'll say, oh gosh, why are they doing that? You learn things not to do, right? But he said something about good traders anticipate what could happen. They don't just participate in what is happening. Okay, that's deep, right? Follow that. Okay, good traders anticipate what is likely to happen. They don't just participate in what is happening. And what he was getting at is exactly what we're talking about here. So most retail traders who lose money, right? Where are they getting in on this move? Where are they getting in? Well, they're getting in down here, right? Because they're watching and they see this candle and then this candle and then this candle, and then they start like, oh, I should get in, I should get in, I should get in. And then they start and they're like, yes, I'm going to get in. Man, this is moving down. Well, they get in here and then what happens? Boom, it goes up. And they either get stopped out or they lose money. All right, then it starts all over again, right? It breaks here, comes back, retests, starts to go down, well, they end up getting in probably right about here. So all they're doing is participating in what is happening. A good trader is anticipating, okay, if we break this channel, right, these two lines right here, if we break this channel and we don't come back and break and re-enter, I'm short, and then they're looking for targets. They're anticipating this move, and then they catch that move. Okay, over here, same thing. We have this flag. They're anticipating if we break this, right? If we break this, or they come back here on the retest. Okay, then just like I did this morning, right? I was anticipating, okay, before this ever happened. I was typing it out in the room, okay? This is probably a good play. I said great place, I think. I think my words were this would be a great place to go short. All right, because of everything I've seen. Anticipating the move. Okay, normal traders, they're going to wait and they're going to see this start coming down here and they're going to get in near the bottom and then boom, it bounces against them. And they're going to go, oh my gosh, all the signs were there. All the signs were there. Right? So you don't want to be late. I think I said that in the room today. You don't want to be late on entries or exits. All right, on entries or exits. I see we had a bunch more people join us, so welcome everyone. We've just been going over the action on ES today, and I'm trying to point out how it's been very easy to read, and how if you kind of know what you were doing, you could have been anticipating and taking some great trades. All right, so you can see here, so far the demand zone is still holding up. All right, let's look down here. Okay, so far we haven't broke back up above, but we're not too far. Now remember, this is the 24-hour trend of momentum to the downside. So you can get these little spikes above it, but overall, last 24 hours trending to the downside, momentum-wise. So you could watch right here and see, does this all of a sudden start to curve and head back up? Okay, because if it does, all right, there could be, right? What did I just say? We could put in, remember, double bottoms do not have to be exact, right? If this goes here and maybe kind of does something like that and starts to go higher, that's still considered a double bottom. Or it could even kind of get down here just below. It could come up here, come down to about right in here, and then start up. And if you break above here, then statistics say you're highly likely to get back up here near the origin of the move. All right. Now, I'll tell you something as we start to wind this down. A lot of traders, a lot of retail traders, a lot of new traders, novices, people who struggle. Okay, one of the reasons they struggle is that they have no confidence in their analysis abilities, chart reading abilities, and they've always been told you have to have some big fancy strategy, and you know, people have tried to wow them with stuff like that, so they get paralyzed, and that's why they don't get in up here where all the good traders are getting in. They wait until it's way down here, because what do textbooks always say? When it comes to trading, you read a lot of textbooks, they talk about wait for confirmation, wait for confirmation, wait for confirmation. Now, there are times when that is appropriate, but if you wait so long, then you're entering at a bad place. You're entering where it's highly likely it's going to go against you. You enter up here, right? You're going to be able to catch most of this, or you can do, like, I don't try to catch the whole move. I try to catch it in pieces. Okay, I try to catch it in pieces. You have less exposure that way. I don't want to, bore you about exposure and things like that. We've talked about it before. All exposure means is the longer you're in a trade, the more exposed you are, right? Because anything can happen at any time. You could be 100% right about your analysis. Let me show you. Let me give you proof. Boom, there it is. Anything, sorry about that. Anything can happen at any time, right? At this point, okay, we had moved up. I'm sorry, I don't know why that's doing that. I accidentally clicked on it. There we go. Okay, we were trending up. We'd bounced off, and we maybe were going to move back down to the bottom of the channel like we did over here. You can almost just take these two bars out like they don't exist, and this is really what was going to happen. All right, but that false news came out, and you see how sensitive the market is. So when I say anything can happen at any time, right there's proof. A false report comes out, and boom, the market just tanks. What if you were long right there with no stop? Right? You're crying. Right? Because I'll tell you what probably happened. You kept trying to get out, trying to get out, trying to get out, and you couldn't get out. And then eventually, as it slowed down here, you get out, and then all of a sudden it turns around and goes right back up. Then you're really sick. Right? Then you're really sick. But that's all I mean about anything can happen at any time. And look where it went, by the way. Look where it stopped. Right at a level of structure. Right at a level of structure. So that was a huge move to the downside. It was, let's look here, 40, 60, 61.25, $61.25 to the downside. And it happened like that, right? It happened like that. That was 9 o'clock at night. I was watching it when it happened. And I mean, it happened in just literally a few minutes. And then as soon as they came right back out and said, nope, it's false, boom, it went right back up. But then look, if you took these out of here, look what it did. It came up to the top of the channel and went right back down to the bottom. Act like these two aren't even here. So I say it all the time. News events, unexpected news events are temporary. Price will always revert back to wherever it was going to go anyway. That's why I say if you acted like these weren't even here and these two candles were gone, right here is exactly what was going to happen anyway. That's what was going to happen, right? Because we were in a upward channel. Let me see if I can, there we go. I can close it in a little bit for you. All right, so it started back here. We went up, came down, went up, came all the way down, went all the way up. Act like these aren't here, came all the way down, went most of the way up, came back down again, and then here's where we finally broke through. All right, so again, right here's what was going to happen anyway. So even when this unexpected news comes out, once everything settles in, price is going to go where it was supposed to go anyway. So I guess a tip I could give you long term, it's hard for newer traders or novice traders to understand and learn this. If you start to become pretty good at analysis and something unexpected happens, don't throw your analysis out. Because it's still, if it was good analysis, it's still going to play out. Let's just say this came out and it was positive. And the price shot way up, but it was false. And then it gets corrected, and then it comes right back down, right? So if these were absolutely reversed, this candle was green to the upside, and then this one was red back down, what would have happened next? This, right here. Exactly what was going to happen anyway. All right, so work on your analysis. Simple, basic analysis. Don't get complex. And don't throw it out when unexpected news happens. All right, so one more quick look and then I'll let everybody go. Okay, here's where we're at right here. I'm trying to get as much info on the screen as we can. Trying to get back above. This is, remember, this is our 24-hour downtrend. It's trying to get back up above. That does not mean that we're necessarily reversing right now. Doesn't mean that. But what it does mean is right now there's a lot of buying pressure in this demand zone. So we saw it here. That was a $34 bounce to the upside. We came down and tested it, bounced, came over here, came down and tested it again. We're bouncing again. Now, when would we start thinking that we may be entering into some sort of an uptrend? If we can take this out, which is the 50% retracement of this move, and see how the 20 is curling down, the 200 is still relatively flat. 20 is coming down. If we get up here and don't bounce back down, like we did right there, see that? And here we kind of got above it, but then, so we went below it, came back to it, bounced down, got just barely above it, bounced down, back to it, bounced down. So if it takes this out, and takes this out, then you can start thinking in your mind, and you'd be looking down here, are we starting to trend up? Okay, then you'd start thinking, yes, we're probably starting to enter into some sort of an uptrend. Okay, a lot has to happen. A lot has to, for now, nothing has changed. We are still in a strong downtrend. Okay? All right. Been on about 40 minutes or so. I just wanted to quickly jump on. There was a lot of questions in our community. Again, if you're brand new, give us a thumbs up on here and subscribe to our channel and turn on that notifications bell. But come to our room. It's absolutely free. SimpleTradingLife.com. Click on the free chat room button. And when I see stuff like this, I'm going to give you a heads up. And starting on July 1st, we're moving all of our premium content over to the free room, and everything is free. So like all the premium content that only premium members have had access to, it's now, there isn't going to be any more premium. It's just all free and everything's available to everybody. YouTube is free, the room is free, the website is free, it's all free. Okay, so come join us. We just want to try to help people be better. There's my phone ringing, so it's time for me to go. Everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.